All right, so welcome to the pre-lunch session. I'm going to be talking about BPM and linkages to SunSystems and iPOS. So I need to set the scene probably for you about what I'm going to do today because BPM is such a difficult subject to work with. You lose your audience very quickly. So guys, I'm going to start you off in the stratosphere in my little BPM world, and it's going to be high level, and then I'm going to bring you in for a landing, and by the end, hopefully everyone would have seen how that message that I had at the start filters down into the final product. Okay, so my name is Renier Bezuidenhout, and iTunes voucher to the first person that can spell my surname correctly. They had to change my email to just Renier because no one could email me. So what are we thinking about today? So I need to get you a bit excited about BPM because I'm quite excited about it. So I need to get everyone on the same page. And what are we thinking about? We're thinking about surviving an unnatural selection in your current business environment. And what do I mean by unnatural selection? I think everyone is watching the news, bated breath. Economic conditions are tough, and things are just going wrong. Well, and no one really has an answer about how business should react to this current situation. We've all heard the words that change is inevitable, and we all feel that we should embrace change. It's a natural response. But we don't know how to get that into the DNA of our businesses. So hopefully, at the end of this, I can give you some message about how we're going to embed this into the DNA of our business. Okay, so here's my plan. Being a BPM guy, I drew you a nice BPMN diagram. Try the usual explanation of what BPM is, and then if we have any people awake still, then we're going to just go off the reservation and maybe try a new approach. Really what I'm trying to get through is this little messages that's coming out here. So the workflow for SunSystems and 3P, to keep going and to be good at getting better. That's really the messages I'm trying to convey for you. So to start off with, there's 4 things I'm going to talk about today. The first one is I'm going to give you an honest appraisal of what is BPM. I'm going to try and give you an honest message and not try and bore you with all the technical jargon and all the hype that's out there at the moment. All right, so I think let's dive into that. I need to first introduce myself because I don't think most of you have met me or seen me or know what I do. So in the last 7+ years, this is how I've spent my life. I've been implementing BPM most of the time. I've also been as much a critic of BPM as I am an advocate, so I feel your pain. And right now at the moment, I'm working for Professional Advantage, and I'm helping them out on the BPM side. So I'm trying to develop the BPM business and, like I said, try to build some excitement in the market around BPM. All right, so what the academics say, and I'm actually going to have to stand here and read this to you because I've tried to memorize this a million times and it's just difficult. So what the academics say, they say BPM is partially based on an organization-wide management philosophy. So BPM is an organization-wide management philosophy that includes design, document, control, analysis and monitoring of business processes. It involves humans, documents, systems, and it spans cross-functional boundaries. It is partially enabled by software, and that is what we're selling, but it's also involved in the enactment of those business processes. Yes. What does it all mean? Well, there's a lot of jargon out there, and a lot of it is really based on some really good research. The research that's been done into BPM is good, and it's meant to inspire and provide a way to implement BPM into your business. But we've become victims of our own bloggeria, and we just spam the market with information, and we don't get the message across. So I'm going to try and get the message across. So what is the message? What am I trying to tell you? Well, BPM, as a practitioner, and from a practitioner's point of view, is all about listening. And I have been accused of not listening, but I wasn't paying attention at that stage, so I didn't hear them say that. But it's about listening to your customers. It's about engaging your customers and finding the pain points in their business. What is wrong? What's going wrong in your business? Why is it not working? And can we improve it? Is there actually a way to improve processes in our business and gain an advantage out of it? Just because it's not good, just because it works, doesn't mean it's good. Just because the business process works doesn't mean it's good. And can we gain something out of automation? I think really to bring this message home, I have to tell you a little story about a previous client that I worked with. It's all started with a little small implementation of BPM in a little country up in Africa called Tanzania. And they basically implemented a little procurement process. And for 3 years, life was brilliant until one day, another country's FD walked in and said, guys, your business is running smoothly. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do, what's going on here. And the idea was born to take a business systems upgrade project and basically standardize their business processes throughout the business. Now it's 5 years later, a lot of people have been involved, and it's now running live in 8 countries, 10 sites, across 3 business areas: procurement, manufacturing, sales and distribution. These guys basically took BPM to a new level. Now, what does it mean for us? Well, there's 2 lessons we can learn here. Firstly, they didn't start off trying to change the world. They started off by small incremental improvements in their process. They started getting good at getting better. And that's how they started their process. What was the bottom line for them? So now they've basically got a business process management system running on top of their financial management system or their ERP. And they can basically, at any stage, the FD in any other country can take a resource out of the warehouse and place him in any other warehouse in any other of those 8 countries. And that guy will slot into his spot and know what to do and know how to work with the system. Now, that is no minor feat. All those systems are running exactly the same back-end database. So a financial director sitting in South Africa can actually connect up and see how many hectoliters of beer did this customer distribute in the last day. Now that is quite impressive, but it all started with a small idea. Another thing that I want to tell you about this client, so basically they spent the 5 years, and I'm not trying to name products here, so please excuse me if I do, but basically these guys, they were bought by a European company, and the European company said, guys, we're going SAP. We're going to implement SAP all over Africa, and it's going to be brilliant. They started doing the research, and after about 2 months, they came back and they said, the whole budget for this 5-year project is about worth as much as the SAP licenses for 2 countries. And Europe came back and said, guys, this is impressive. Can we do this in Russia? I said, yes, we can do this in Russia. Wow. Now an African business has shown how it's done. And it was very impressive to see their reactions to this. This was this intuitive reaction. Everyone felt that there was value to gain. So that's my opinion. I'm trying to sell my opinion to you, and you're saying, well, that's brilliant. What do you know? So I thought I had to back it up with something. So I went to Gartner, old favorite of ours, and basically what Gartner said was the top 3 benefits. So what they did, let me just set the scene for you. What they did is they basically went and they looked at a business process management adoption survey in 2010. They took 593 companies across America, and they said, guys, you've implemented business process management in your business. What are the value? What's the value add? What are you seeing? And the first one, I think, rings true for all of us. This is a worry for all of us. They reduced costs. The second 2, it's a difficult sell to someone who hasn't experienced BPM in their business and hasn't adopted it yet. But they experienced improvements in process quality. Now, even on a pure business level, that is something worth doing. And then the continuous improvement, again, getting good at getting better. Okay. The second thing they found was there were top 3 business process areas where the customers were worried about. So there were 3 areas that they were worried about. The first one was customer-facing processes. Basically what they were saying is we want to blur the boundaries between our business and our customers. And how do you do that? Well, basically you can use business process management to bring your customer closer to your department that is supposed to be looking after them. I always take the story of if I've got a problem with my cell phone, I don't actually really care if I should talk to accounts. I don't care if I need to talk to technical. I really don't care which department I need to talk to. I've got a problem. I want to log my problem, and I want someone to tell me what the answer is. And in business process management, we can use that type, we can leverage that technology to bring those things closer to our customers. So again, guys, we're slightly coming down through the stratosphere. I can see you starting to burn up. We're going to get to the ground soon. Okay, so the second one that they looked after was task management processes. Now here's the big one. Task management processes. Timesheets, expense reporting, credit card, employee appraisals. Sound familiar? A lot of people in this room have spoken to me about this. I didn't make this up, by the way. I read this week, and we've been preaching expense claims, we've been preaching employee appraisals, we've been preaching timesheets to our clients. I read a Gartner survey of 590 customers, and they say, this is what everyone's worried about. So guess what? Everyone else in the world is worried about the same things that you were worried about. The last one that they're worried about is integration of data across existing applications. Sound familiar? Anyone want to integrate data across existing applications? Yeah, definitely an issue. So what are we talking about? What are businesses trying to do really? If you really skin it down to the bare bones of what we're talking about, businesses are saying we want to take our existing resources, our people, our systems, our infrastructure, we want to take existing stuff and we want to get more out of it. The time for wastage is over. There's a whole movement in the world to stop wasting. And business process management could potentially be one of those things that you use to get the best out of your existing systems, by integrating your existing systems, by freeing up your employees from the daily grind. Why should an employee spend hours and days doing administrative tasks, trying to clean up data that should be cleaned from the start, instead of doing their job? So we're really trying to free up our employees to do what they're supposed to be doing, not sitting there and trying to trudge through emails to get expense claims going. Okay, so very interesting. What's the last thing that Gartner then said? So they went on and they said, well, what is it all about? It's about disruption. We're in a disruptive economy at the moment. Things are just changing on us at the drop of the hat, and we are struggling to respond. We've got these brilliant financial management systems. They're big, they work. Accounting is something that works, and should we be tinkering with these systems? Should we be trying to tweak our big line of business systems to deal with market situations? Probably not. We should probably find a solution to build on top of our existing systems to make them better. Maybe BPM could be the answer. So what did Gartner say? They said the frequency of ad hoc process changes increased by 19% since the survey in 2008. So what does it mean? Well, really it means that the businesses that implemented BPM, they increased by 19% the ad hoc changes to their process. They're trying to adapt. They're saying, they're turning to business processes and say, can we change our business process? I'd like to tell you a little story here while we're at it. I had coffee with a client yesterday, and he said that one of the financial executives, so it's an oil and gas sector company, and they basically implemented an AFE approval. That's basically a expenditure approval process. And he said, one of the finance execs phoned him and said, our process is cumbersome, it's long. And he said, but don't worry, it's not your fault. We spec'd it out wrong. And I said, whoa, don't you see what's happening? When have you had a finance exec phoning an IT consultant saying, guys, our process is cumbersome, let's fix it up? You're engaging top executives in the business process. And I said to him, brilliant, let's fix it. So definitely getting everyone involved. Okay, so hopefully now I've given you a clear message of what we're trying to talk to you about today. It's really about business process management and how we can deal with that. So the next step I'm going to take, just to really line us up for the landing, is to take some quotes that I've heard from customers and people in this room, and maybe see if you can find yourself in them. I want our expense claim process to be more reliable and responsive. I'm talking about expense claims on this slide or on this bubble, but really it's not just about expense claims. It's about all processes in our businesses being more reliable. David this morning spoke about their processes being reliable, people now actually authorizing expenditure. It's a new wave. And imagine if you could do that same thing to the rest of your business, to the rest of your business processes. Get approvals at the right time when they should be happening. Bring the data to the people that should be worried about that data. Credit risk and compliance wants a clear and repeatable way to review and approve customer and supplier information. Sound familiar to all the iPOS guys? How do we get supplier information into the system? I like my story, so you have to excuse me. So another client I spent some time with, he said, they said, I've got a problem. I said, what's wrong? He says, well, what keeps happening in our business is we get an invoice and our accounts guys go pay the invoice. We can't find the supplier in the system. I say, how the hell do you get invoiced when you don't even have your supplier on the system? Who's checking these things? He says he doesn't know. He thinks that the document ended up on someone's desk somewhere and they forgot to process it. Wow. Now, couldn't we be a little bit better at that? Couldn't we be getting better at this? I don't know. If you want to know how, maybe come speak to me afterwards. We can see if we can find a way. Okay. Valuable metrics and KPI information stored in spreadsheets, hard copies, and documents. David, sound familiar? Just incidentally, I did not sync up with David before this, and I didn't read his slides before this, but this is everyone's problems. This is everyone's problems. Information is sitting in your business, and you can't get it out. KPI information is sitting in your business, and you can't get it out. A lot of financial management systems, procurement systems, iPOS, they're really good at telling you information about how much did your accruals, how much requisitions are in the system, what's the value of those requisitions. How many of you in the room can tell me what's your average lead time from the time that a requisition is placed to the time that a purchase order is printed? That's a business process. That runs across your business. Now, shouldn't it be something that you measure and how long it takes from the point that we go from this side right through to the other side? From the point that we receive a customer order right through to the door where we've basically shipped them the software or whatever product we're shipping to them. Those are the things we should worry about. Oh, reverse. Let's use this one. Okay. I need a way to avoid departments rekeying information into multiple systems. I see a couple of nods. Yes. A lot of departments rekeying information into multiple systems all over the show. Duplication of information, duplication of effort, employees sitting there typing information that should actually be just put into the system once and shipped across our business. Master data should be the responsibility of the staff that create and manage it and not back office staff. We see our back office staff being swamped by information requests. They get supplier requests yay high on their desk and they have to put all these suppliers into the system. Should it be their problem? I don't know. Maybe we can push it out to the people generating this information. And if we give them a user interface that is linked up to our system backends, couldn't we get them to enter the information correctly the first time and route it to the right place for someone to approve and not have to key it into multiple systems again? Expense claims are onerous for back office staff. Another client that I spent some time with, they have basically 200, 300, 400, 500 expense claims coming through a month, and they have 3 or 4 AP staff. Now, literally, check that. It takes them a month to go through every single one of these expense claims, make sure everyone's typed in the right information, codify it, and put it into your financial system. Shouldn't that be happening at the source? Shouldn't the person generating that information be selecting the right allocation, selecting the right place to put that information, and shouldn't AP just be looking at to see if it's okay? So we're pushing it back to the front office staff who's generating this information and causing the issues for us. We're freeing them up from everyday grind to do their job, and we're giving them a way to make the back office staff's job a little bit easier. Okay. Self-service portal to initiate internal human resource processes, expenses and timesheets. Again, our employees are asking, and I'm laboring the point and I'm going to fly over it now. Our employees are asking for ways to do their job better and quicker. And then the last one, bring together a lot of information sources into a central location to allow decision makers the ability to make rapid decisions. That just rolls off the tongue so well, doesn't it? It just feels right. It should be something that we talk about in board meetings. But really, it should be an option. It should be something that we're trying to achieve. So hopefully you can see that I'm not preaching to some choir sitting outside. I'm talking to everyone in this room. I'm talking to your business. And I think we all could, again, be good at getting better. Okay. So the next step of the process, we've lined up to the runway. We're going to bring it in. So how are we at PA going to help you do this? How are we going to take you on this journey? Because really, it's a long journey, and we need to start somewhere, but there is somewhere to start. We've got a solution for you. I just need some water. Alrighty, so off we go. So I've labeled this point again. What does a typical business look like? I really like this slide. They forced me to put it in the beginning, and now I'm starting to like it, and you'll see why, because it really gives you the impression of things flowing around in your business, and I like it. I just like this slide. So up at the top, you've got your departments, managers, partners, a lot of people generating a lot of information. At the bottom, running down here, you've got your business systems, you've got databases, document management, maybe a SunSystems around there somewhere. And then, boom, business processes running around your business. And it really gives you a feeling of how these business processes run around your business. A lot of it is uncontrolled. A lot of it is ad hoc. Things are just crazy in our business at the moment. And what we really want to get to is maybe a little bit of a picture looking a bit more like this. So what are we proposing? We're proposing that you put this middleware, and I'm using middleware very loosely because it's actually a business process management system. And for the technical definition of that, you'll have to see me afterwards because I promise not to bore you anymore. But this is a business process management. So it's not just an integration layer. It is actually a whole solution around business processes, integrating with multiple systems down the bottom here, communicating with multiple users. It's a web-based interface that people can log in, read information from different systems, type in what they need to type, initiate processes that they need to initiate, and have it integrate with your back-end systems. And I'm going to show you an example right now of how that happens. So we basically deploy the landing gear. We're ready to come down for a landing now. And I'm going to show you actually how this works, because talking is no good if we can't show you, and you shouldn't trust anyone who can't show you what they're doing. So I'm going to do a demo for you. I need to just tweak this machine now to get our demo up, and so that I don't have to look over my shoulder all the time. Give me a second. Change display. There we go. There we go. Now you can see my screen and my sneaky notes. All right. So what are we looking at the moment? We're actually looking at the XMPro user interface. So that little block that was sitting in the middle there, we've now actually brought it into a real place. It exists. It's there. You can log in. You can use it. It is something that we're not just talking about at the moment. So I can drop that. And I'm just going to log in. So just to show you some security there. Okay, and in we go. So, set the scene. I'm a user. I need to add a new supplier. So, I log into my service portal, or whatever you want to call it, if there's a nice word for it, and I say, I want to request a new supplier. There we go. Options. Business unit, Sun users. Does that look familiar? That comes from Sun. That's your Sun business unit. Reading data from other systems and pushing it down to the people who should be doing it and not relying on back office staff. Company registration number, well, dear, I don't know. And company name. There we go, copy some information. So I'm not going to give you the whole spiel about how this works and how these are required fields and. All that, you'll spend some time with me if you want to see it, and we can talk about all the capabilities. What I'm just trying to show you is the core ideas that we're doing. Currency, again, the currency selection. This information comes from SunSystems. That's the currencies in Sun. Now, just think about the value that we're proposing here, because if your end user is selecting the right currency when they start, couldn't I just automatically pump that supply into the back end once it's been approved? Well, we're going to see that happen today. We're going to do that. All right, email supplier. Oh, here we go. Andrew, I forgot this company's name. Never use another man's laptop. Okay, so please complete the attached template and return to us. Just going to have to open my Exchange. While that's busy running, I think we can submit this. End user doing this. Okay. So you'll see the process ran. There's a lot happened. Basically, the process ran. I can expand some history for you if you want to see what happened. So there's the request a new supplier step in my process. And over here, it's now given me the option to upload the new supplier details. Now what I've done, just to shortcut the process a little bit, I've basically taken a supplier, Business Improvement Limited supplier details form, and my supplier would receive this form and they would complete it for us. Just to top it all off with some cheese, I've called my business improvement, and that's our address there. So fill in all that information. My supplier will give me all that information, and I come back to the process. So this gentleman's waiting here for that information to come in. Again, front office staff doing this, not concerning back office staff with information that they should have when they start. Okay, so I'm going to log in again as the same person and assume that the form has come back. What did I log in as now? Bit of a rough landing, some side winds. All right, so upload new supplier details. We've received the form back. We go browse, go to the desktop. Oh, we're already there, and scroll down to that form. There we go. Got you. Now they've got the option to say there was no response from the supplier. Again, technicalities around how the process works, but we can change this. We don't have to follow this process. Do not mold your business along system lines. Mold your systems for your business. So we submit this information, and all the information comes from that supplier form. Very nice. Please notice that I'm entering this information once. I'm not sending forms around the business. I'm not asking people to phone around, get this stuff. It's sitting with one person, filling in the right information in the right place at the right time. This is a new supplier process, but there are so many other processes in the business that need to do this similar thing. So I'm going to copy the address because it's required. I'm going to put in some more information here. Again, things like state, city. You'll notice from the Sun guys, this is the information we require in SunSystems to get a supplier in. We're making sure that the right information is filled in and it's required. So these people need to get this information for us in order to get the new supplier added onto the system. You can see there's some contact information. Payment terms. Straight from SunSystems again. Selecting the payment terms straight from SunSystems. So we're doing it right first time. Payment method. Look familiar. Submit for approval, yes please. Going to tell me I need some information. State is required. Let's see where I missed it out. There we go. Can't go on without the required information. Make sure I got everything in the first time. Goes off to approval. So now the approver group has to approve this, and I can log in as someone new just to give you a feel of the flow in the business. It's gone to a group. Open up the information, all the information in one place, brought together for my manager to review and make a decision. On the spot, right there, here we go. Let's make a decision. Get the information in. I think let's approve it. Okay, as discussed maybe. Manager approved supplier. Supplier reviews, that's generally your back office staff. Now we bring it into back office so they can vet this data, because we don't want data just flowing into our business without any control. So we put this control at the back for someone to review this information, and they are the reviewers group. I think this admin person is in the reviewers group. Don't know how compliant that is, but. And the only option remaining here really is to assign a supplier code to my supplier. They can see all the information in the right place. So what I'm saying here is your AP guys don't have to chase around for information. The supplier approval has gone to the manager, he's done his work, he's sent it on to AP. AP's got this information in one place. They give them CPR, I just need to remember that. They give the supplier code. All that information is in there. They can supply the supplier's letterhead, they can attach other information. It's your decision what you want this thing to do for you. Approve and create. Boom, done. That supplier is now in SunSystems. That supplier is now in iPOS. And just to show you that I'm not lying, I can do a little bit of a play here. Request update to bank details in my DEL business unit. What was it? CRP? No. What was it? CPR, the other way around. Dyslexia. Here we go. Open up that, gentleman. That bank details, I'm reading straight from SunSystems, and they're updating it right here in one place. If we want the bank details to go for approval, then we build in approval steps. If whatever we decide this process should do in our business, we can control what happens. Okay, so I can submit this for review. And that's the part of the demo. So hopefully you all can see how a simple process like adding a new supplier applies all those concepts that I've been telling you about, all those ideas that BPM is trying to sell to us. Now I just need to sort out my screen again to back, you know what, to be honest, I can just do my slides. So that's the most boring slide of the show. I left it for last. These are the processes that are available sort of as a baseline process. I'm tempted to say out the box, but anyone that tells you that they can give you anything without training, without customization, is taking the mickey. Because we're definitely going to have to spend time with you to figure out how your process works. And as you've seen, we've got the baseline process. And possibly we can implement it in a very short space of time if you don't want major changes. If you want major changes, then make major changes. Again, we're trying to be good at getting better. So what's next for the future? Where are we taking all this? Well, the real next step is if you're interested in workflow for SunSystems or just generally how business process management in your business, how we can help you with that, then definitely spend some time with me or John or any of the other PA people will happily spend some time with you to discuss your options, how to get workflow for SunSystems in, what options have you got, okay? The second one that I want to give you advice on is cast your net a bit wider. I think once you've implemented this incremental improvement, once you've put workflow for SunSystems in your business, don't stop there, don't stagnate. Keep growing, keep getting better, keep improving your process by looking at other processes in your business. Once you get hold of this, you can really run with it. It's really something that can grow with your business, that you can get better at. The second thing that I wanted to say to you is to keep swimming, is to keep trying to get better and not just using the software that we sell you for your business in general. It is something that's really sitting close to my heart. I have a feeling that in order to deal with the changes in our environment, we get scared of change. So we try and stop change in our business. We try and limit the amount of change we've got in our business. And that's really counter sort of evolutionary. Shouldn't we be trying to deal with the change by changing ourselves? So just keep swimming, just keep trying to improve your business. And that's it for me. I've got a QA session right now, so any of you who've got questions, anyone who's still awake and still excited can ask me any questions if you want. Are there any questions? Yes.
Can you put the previous slide back on when you're writing up now? Thank you.
Well, at least someone's writing it down, yes. My work here is done. Oh, yes. Andrew reminded me of my email. So, just to show you that I was telling the truth, there's my supplier form coming through to my supplier. They just open it up there, and they can fill it in and send it back to us. And you can see all the workflow mails coming through, reminders. It's really busy up there. Oh, the other inbox. There we go. Look at all these reminders. We've just short-circuited a process, so there's a lot of steps reminding you to do your work, reminding you to approve your suppliers, chasing up the guys that should be doing the work. Okay, I think that's it from me. At least one person was writing it down, so I'm taking that as a win.
Any other questions?
Yep.
What's the wildest area that you've covered with a BPM?
The wildest area that I've covered with a BPM process. Oh dear, that's.
Other than expense.
One of the big ones was contract management. For a big airline, we did contract management that had to loop around all the legal departments and documents flowing around the business. And it's a big one. And the second one, I think, was basically one of our other big clients is basically implementing a CRM solution, but they want to approve, on the back of that CRM solution, approve all the information that's going into their system, because basically you have traders putting in information and it's not being approved. So what they did is they bolted on a business process management on the back of their CRM solution. Because of the integration, because we can pull all that information from CRM, we basically start the process of adding the information in CRM. That triggers a business process at the back, which goes out to compliance, credit risk, and all the sort of knocks on all the doors, gets all the right signatures, and get that trader or supplier approved. So that one is big, but just because of the integration complexity involved in it. But on average, I would say, if you're doing a decent business process management implementation and you want to sort of show some value, you're probably looking at probably between a 30 and a 50-day implementation, depending on how complex your business process is. But yeah, that's about where you're sitting. But then you get the chance to spend some time with me. So I don't know if that's a good thing.
I can add another one to that. We've also implemented this for a number of organisations. One uses it for managing shipping containers that come off ships, go to a parking area. They have to record on mobile devices the shipping container numbers to actually log where they are and push them on through the system internally, which they do entirely through mobile devices using BPM. Thank you very much. And another one is actually using them for decommissioning PCs for an Australian part of the government, where they actually need to remove data from the PCs and destroy all the disks effectively. And they're doing similar sort of things where they actually have people going around with mobile devices and logging what's happened, which PC it was, where it's going, and if it's safe to actually release that back into the market. So there are so many areas that you can address with this, and really it's all about pain problems. So if you think in your organisation you have a pain point, that is the right place to start in looking for BPM. If there's something you find continuously is a pain, then addressing that as a starting point, and then once you have that implemented, thinking, well, as Renier was saying, look to the future, open up your thoughts and come up with the next process, and it becomes an incremental business improvement situation. And obviously what we're doing is giving you very strong starting points in and around SunSystems, around iPOS and the processes that you guys would be dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So really it's as big as you can think. That's the answer.
Yeah, I could spend the whole day telling you guys about all the implementations, and those of you that are interested can come sit by me at lunchtime or buy me drinks. I'm up for that. Okay, I think that's me. Thanks, guys.